Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we delve into the fascinating world of the Bible. We will explore its creation and the reasons behind it based on what studies say. This is your trusted Jesusito speaking. Let's begin.
The Bible, that book that has deeply influenced Western civilization, didn't just appear overnight. Archaeological finds and academic studies show us a complex history that spans over 1,000 years. According to studies by Dr. William Schniedewind, a professor of biblical languages at UCLA, the first texts that would eventually become part of the Bible began to be written around 1200 BC. However, the oldest archaeological evidence we have of biblical texts are the Dead Sea Scrolls, dated between the 3rd century BC and the 1st century AD. The making of the Bible wasn't a straight line. Archaeologist Israel Finkelstein from Tel Aviv University has shown that many of the oldest texts first existed as spoken stories before they were written down. The first writings appeared during the divided kingdom of Israel and Judah around the 8th century BC. It's really important to understand that the Bible we have today is the result of many different collections and edits.
Could you delve into how archaeology and linguistics have allowed researchers to reconstruct this early evolution of biblical texts, especially considering that the oldest written evidence comes from the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are much more recent?
Dr. Lawrence Schiffman, an expert in Judaic studies at New York University, points out that the process of deciding which books belonged in the Old Testament wasn't finished until about 90 AD during the Council of Jamnia. Why was the Bible written? Historical evidence suggests many reasons. During the Babylonian exile, 586-538 BC, there was a strong need to keep the Hebrew people's culture and religion alive. Dr. John Collins from Yale University says that a big part of the Torah was put together and edited during this very important time. Modern studies of the texts, led by scholars like Dr. Bart Ehrman, show that the New Testament was written between 50 and 150 AD. The first writings were Paul's letters, followed by the Synoptic Gospels. The Gospel of John, thought to be the last one written, dates from about 100 AD.
How is this academic perspective reconciled with the traditional belief in divine inspiration, and what implications this view has for modern interpretation of the scriptures?
The question of whether the Bible is a divine or human book has caused a lot of strong debates among scholars. Scientific analysis shows historical inconsistencies and differences in the texts that suggest humans wrote them. Dr. James Barr, a former professor at Oxford, says that the Bible should be understood as a product of its time and culture. Modern language studies have found many authors in texts that were traditionally thought to be written by just one person. For example, the study of writing styles in the Pentateuch, done by Dr. Richard Elliott Friedman, suggests at least 4 different sources: J, E, P, and D. Archaeology has given us really important proof about the Bible's historical setting. Digs in Israel and Jordan, led by archaeologists like Kathleen Kenyon and William Deaver, have shown that many Bible stories actually reflect real historical events from the ancient Near East.
How can contemporary readers, both believers and non-believers, approach the Bible to understand its undeniable historical and cultural importance without falling into anachronisms or misinterpretations of its original purpose?
It's important to note that the Bible isn't a history book in the way we think of history books today. Dr. Mark Zvi Bretler from Duke University points out that the biblical texts mix historical stories with literary, religious, and mythical parts. Passing down the biblical texts also brings up some big challenges. Dr. Bruce Metzger, in his very important work on text criticism, has found thousands of differences in the ancient manuscripts, which makes it harder to understand the original text. The discoveries at Qumran have completely changed how we understand biblical history. These manuscripts, studied a lot by Dr. Emmanuel Toff, show that there were many different versions of biblical texts being used at the same time in ancient days. Scientific evidence shows us that the Bible is an incredibly complex document, the result of hundreds of years of writing and cultural development. Its historical importance cannot be denied. no matter what your personal religious beliefs are. If you found this look at the Bible's origins interesting, I invite you to subscribe for more content about ancient history and biblical archaeology. Don't forget to turn on notifications to stay updated on future videos. Thanks for watching.